Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for A Dog's Way Home. So A Dog's Way Home is part of the series of films that are considered a dog's journey movies, I guess. Or not A Dog's Journey, I'm forgetting what A Dog's Purpose. Because that author made a bunch of books, and it seems like they're making a bunch of them into movies. Because A Dog's Way Home was a spin-off, it was another tale that took place within like A Dog's Purpose universe, I guess. And then this May you have a sequel coming out to A Dog's Purpose, so I guess it's becoming like its own cinematic universe. It's just a bunch of movies that have to do with dogs that were all written by the same guy. I don't know, but this is just another film in that now series, I guess. And it follows the story of a dog whose owner has to move her because of bad circumstances. And she decides that she doesn't want to be moved, so she runs 400 miles all the way home trying to get back to her owner. A Dog's Way Home, I believe, was my second least anticipated movie of 2018. I thought it was going to be a really dumb, stupid kids movie. And yeah, that's what it was. A Dog's Way Home was genuinely horrible. It was astonishing how bad this movie was. I don't even know where to start with it. I think the biggest issue is the fact that it felt like it was 3 hours long. It's a 97-minute movie, but every time I checked my watch, I thought, oh, we're 20, 30 minutes afterwards, and we were 5 minutes. We were 5 minutes through, and I was astonished. I just really wanted it to be over. I thought that, and I think that really does come from editing. I think that's a lot of editing issues with the movie, because it doesn't know what it wants to show, it doesn't know when it wants to show it, and it ends up just having such a long, dragging pace. And it also tries to do too much. Like, the dog goes with the homeless man and with a platonically gay couple. I'll get to that later. And the dog hops around to all these places, and it just feels unnecessary. This movie was, I believe, was an hour and 40 minutes long, and most of the time, movies that feel too long that are like this, you're like, oh, they had to be this certain length so that they could be considered a movie. That's why they felt too long. But this one, it went 17 minutes over when it really didn't need to. It could have cut out 15 minutes easy, and it would have been a lot better. And the CGI in this movie is horrendous. This is probably, I mean, another movie came out that same weekend that I'll have a review up for soon, but this movie had some of the worst CGI I've ever seen on screen. So I can't say it was the worst since a while ago, because it was the worst since another movie that came out that weekend, but I can't genuinely say it was the worst CGI some of the worst I have seen on screen. They have scenes, because you can't have a dog do things that would hurt it, so the dog is friends with a cat, and the cat is CGI, and sometimes the cat and the dog play. And when the cat and the dog play, the dog turns CGI, and the dog looks completely different because they didn't care about the visual effects, because they knew that they would make their money back on opening weekend. And there's a scene where a dog fights wolves. The wolves look fake, and the dog itself looks fake when it's fighting, and it honestly looks like really, really bad animation from like the 90s, like Zelda video game level bad. There's no texture to it. It's just colors. It's just plain one color. It's just a brown dog with a yellow face that moves. I don't know. It's hard to describe. I'm not good at describing visual effects. You kind of just have to see it, and you'll realize how horrendous it is. And this movie, it takes on some really serious stuff for being a kid's movie. They have subplot about mental illness in it. They have a subplot about depression. They have a subplot where there's a homeless man that chains the dog up and leaves him to die. It's just really, really intense stuff for a kid's movie like this, and it just felt very off-putting. But the weirdest part to me was the audience while I was watching this movie. They loved it. They were super interactive. When the bad guy came up and was like, I need to take that dog, they're all like, oh, boo, boo. And I don't get that. I don't get why anybody would like a movie like this. It's the type of movie that would only ever entertain an infant, and yet for some reason my audience loved it. I don't get it. A Dog's Way Home is already, I know it's going to be on my bottom 20 of the year. It's one of the worst movies I have seen in a really, really long time. Don't go see this. I'm sure that these dog movies are just going to get worse and worse as they go along. I mean, the trailer to A Dog's Journey already looked horrible, so I very much did not like this movie, and I will give A Dog's Way Home a 1.5 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for A Dog's Way Home. So, what are your thoughts on this film, or what did you think of the dog's purpose? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.